Rumble is coming, my friends, and as wrestling fans, we should all be excited because this is the best pay-per-view of the year. Excuse me, premium live event. And given how it's all unfolding, there's a very big chance this could be one of the best ever. One of the reasons for that, though, is because of the potential happenings that may go down, as well as the many, many surprises, 10 of which I'm going to call right now. Why? Here's why. Now, at the moment, nobody knows for sure, probably not even WWE. I'd imagine they're still coming up with plans. But as a YouTube nerd and a fan that likes to speculate, I've just got this feeling deep down in my tum-tum that the following 10 people may be in the Royal Rumble. And in true YouTube fashion, we're just going to run them down. So in at 10, cue the joy, cue the rage, cue the madness. I am calling The Rock. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? Of course, that's not real. It's not even a phone. This all comes down to the fact that WWE officials have had this chat where they've gone, do you think we could get Dwayne Johnson for the Royal Rumble? And if we do, he should win the damn thing. And if you can't understand why they'd want to do that, you're absolutely crazy. I'm not telling you this is going to happen. I'm telling you that if you're sat in a creative meeting and the manager says, hey, you can come up with any concept you want, somebody should probably pitch this, because you couldn't come up with a bigger shock. And what do you think is going to happen? This? Does anybody else think that we should get the biggest star in the world? No, that's a terrible idea. Ain't nobody having that chat, especially because The Rock brings headlines, The Rock brings mainstream coverage, and The Rock brings back a bunch of lapsed fans. But also then lead into that match with Roman Reigns, and I don't think you could come up with a better plan than by having Dwayne Johnson win the Royal Rumble and then headline WrestleMania against the head of the table. People are going to be talking about that for months. I mean, the idea is to promote interest and to make money, and you'd have to be the biggest negative Nancy ever to not see the upside of this. I'm not saying you have to like it, I'm not saying that you have to want it, but it stands to reason why WWE is trying to pull it off, and I tell you, I hope they do. And it all, of course, depends on Rocky's schedule as well. If he is able to do it, he's totally going to do it, and that's the same with WrestleMania 2. I don't actually think it could be top. Like, even if he came out at number 29 and CM Punk was number 30, the next day, everyone would still be saying, holy moly, The Rock is back. So we shall move on to the number 9 entrant, and this is a little bit more realistic and ties directly into nostalgia. I want to see the return of Chris Masters. Now, he teased this on social media recently, which could be a hint, or maybe he's just trying to make a play for the thing. And I just think the time is right to bring Masters back, especially because he wasn't treated very nicely 15 or so years ago. I mean, do you remember when he came back and he'd shrunk down and everyone took the mick out of him? It was totally uncalled for. He's also so much better than he was 15 years ago, and I don't believe he could come back and even do an extended run here, work with some of the young guys, and teach them a thing or two. And of course, there's an obvious spot in the Royal Rumble. He looks at Bobby Lashley looks at him, and we have Master versus Hurt Lock. I didn't even say that right. Master Lock. This would be cool as well because I've always enjoyed Chris's work, especially that entrance. Remember when he came out with the cape and just went bam, and he had that ripped body? Sometimes it's just nice to have big men in wrestling, as weird as that may sound. Which is exactly the same for number 8, Carlito. Did you remember when he popped back up in 2021 and was massively jacked? All of a sudden there was this rumor, oh my gosh, Carlito's gonna have a program with something, he's gonna hang around for a while. We didn't see him again. Now, WWE is actually doing the right thing at the moment because they are hiring younger stars and they're pushing these people, which is what wrestling always needs to do. But that's how you could use Carlito. I mean, maybe in the Rumble he gets into it with someone like Bronson Reed, and then you could do a match at the Elimination Chamber or maybe WrestleMania. Bronson Reed can beat him, and you can still say he's beaten a WWE legend. They love that word. And I'll be honest with you too, I just really like Carlito. And if Chris Masters came in at number 12 and then Carlito came in at number 13, I would just be having a whale at the time. I also want to see him spit more apple into people's faces, because it's been like 2 decades since he has done that. It's still really, really weird. Right, let's move into the more modern stories now and pretend The Rock isn't going to be in this thing. Time to bring back Cody Rhodes. Now, we do not know what his pet tear is like, but if the Great One isn't able to make the Royal Rumble, this is what I would do. Cody Rhodes comes back at number 30, he wins the damn thing, and he heads on to WrestleMania. Then on night 1, you do The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, and Roman Reigns wins. And on night 2, you do Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. The American Nightmare finally gets the big one, and I feel all warm and fuzzy. A tum-tum. Now, my gut says that Mr. Johnson isn't going to go for this because he'll be like, wait a minute, why am I losing to Roman Reigns but not Cody Rhodes? Even though the story here could be, well, Roman had to fight twice and that's why he did get defeated. But once again, we're in fantasy booking land here. If we don't do it at WrestleMania, we should do it at SummerSlam. I really need Cody to be the champion. Now, this wouldn't be a massive shock given that he's already on the roster, like we expect his comeback at some point, which is why we move on to number 6, which would be far more surprising, Naomi. Now, this obviously comes down to whether she wants to return to WWE or not, but given that Sasha Banks for the time being isn't going to do that and is off rollicking in New Japan, Naomi should probably come back in the Royal Rumble, get into a massive program with Summer which leads to WrestleMania. We can start giving her a push again, because don't forget she's really good. And not only would it get a massive reaction, but it just stands to reason that you should do this, because you're going to need surprises in the Men's Royal Rumble, and you're going to need surprises in the Women's Royal Rumble, and given what happened back in the summer, I don't think you could probably top this. And she doesn't need to win the thing. Becky Lynch should still be victorious so she could fight Ronda Rousey. But we got 2 nights of WrestleMania again. We need to stack the cards. It just feels like if this is her plan, then late January is the time to do it. And also, once again, you do get fans going, oh my God, I didn't see it coming. And if you don't do that in the Rumble, they get like sand in their pants. Whatever that phrase is. Which is why number 5 would also probably piss some people off. I'm going with Bad Bunny. Now, I love this guy because he clearly loves pro wrestling and he just puts the time in. And he did do this in 2022, so why not make it a yearly thing? Especially because he probably wants to have a match at WrestleMania. He's also going to feel far better with this, because I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to be in 2023's. So this year, the Bunny won't get absolutely murked. I mean, just go look at the numbers his tour is doing as to why WWE would want to include him. If you thought he was a star 12 months ago, he is twice the famous person that he was then. So once again, he's going to generate interest. And once again, he's going to bring new eyeballs to the product. You also know that he's not going to take the piss either. And I think that is massively important. He respects the business, which means all the wrestlers respect him. So whoever he does work with, probably going to be pretty good. Which is the same for number 4. You know what's coming. Logan Paul. I mean, just take everything I just said and repeat it. And given that it feels like Paul's injury wasn't bad as we first thought, he could be ready for January. So you may as well throw him in the Royal Rumble. So I would be amazed if Logan isn't going to be at WrestleMania 2. And while at one point I thought he was going to take on John Cena, Austin Theory has started teasing that program now. Who the flub knows what we're going to do with him. It does mean that it leaves a spot open, and once again you can use the Rumble to set that up. And I just have a small part of me that thinks maybe, just maybe, WWE would be tempted to do Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny, 2 celebrities colliding. Now the negative part of this is that you lose some coverage, because if you have them in 2 separate matches, it stands to reason you'll get twice as many headlines. But it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, and once again, they both give a damn. It probably won't happen because in this situation, they can go, well, I don't want to lose to that guy because I'm the bigger star. But I do believe that WWE will put him in the Royal Rumble, especially because once again, he will be at Mania, and he ain't going to appear on Raw and SmackDown that much, so you can set up the angle here. Back to the Women's Rumble after this though, because in at number 3, Tiffany Stratton. Now, we haven't seen her down in NXT since she got injured last August in that match with Wendy Chu, but she has so much potential here. One of the things we should be aiming to do in 2023 is turn her into a star. I mean, if we just let her run to the ring and have her moment, even people that don't watch NXT will be like, oh man, who the hell is this guy? Because do not forget she's barely doing this 2 years and she's already super good. You could even send her back to Tuesday nights after this and make sure she has some power in her step. But I would be tempted to put her on the main roster straight away, because she's going to be working with a better caliber of wrestler, which in turn means she's only going to improve. However, we don't want to rush this, so let's be patient, but when it is time to strap the rocket to her, Stratton is absolutely going to fly. So let's put her in the Royal Rumble and just test those waters. And then let's turn the clock back for number 2, because who do I want in the damn thing? Booker T. Who? Booker T. This is mostly because he had a match the other day with his own promotion and looked like $1 million. And it's not like he's not affiliated with WWE right now. He is doing NXT every single week. So put him in as the returning legend. I swear the last time we did this was around about 10 years ago too. So Booker can come out, he can do the spinneroonie, and then someone like Bron Breakker can also enter and just throw him out of there. I think Booker T totally gets this, and he'd be more than happy to have some fun. So let's make this happen, thank you very much. And then we finally get to number 1, and admittedly this one's a bit boring, it's a bit drab. But given that WWE kept saying he's going to be out for 6 weeks, he's going to be out for 6 weeks, which ties directly into the Royal Rumble, I'm going to say we see Riddle come back. Now this situation feels very delicate because there's rumors all over the place, so let's just take 1 second to remind ourselves that human beings are involved with this. Human beings being healthy, happy, and positive is the number one thing we should wish for all. But there's also nothing wrong with ensuring that your current stars are treated like big deals, so let's have a big hoo-ha for Riddle at the Royal Rumble. He comes back, and he can either team up with Elias in the match to get rid of the Usos, and then they can have a match at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view a month later. I mean, Jimmy and Jay have got to face and beat someone, why not those two? I'm not saying that you do this at number 30, it'll probably be like number 12 or 13 or something like that. When I was making this list, his face popped up in my head. That does work in terms of times, so I've said it now. There's no going back. Know of any other wrestlers that could be surprises in the 2023 Royal Rumble? Make sure you let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Then go to whatculture.com, where we'll keep you updated with the Royal Rumble, as we shall do on social media at Simon316 and WhatCulture WWE. There's a lot of list videos. Some with me, some with other people. Go watch them. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you for joining me as always. I do hope you have a wonderful new year and a wonderful 2023. Thank you for all the support, and I will see you throughout the year.